I read one time that the true purpose of AI is to allow the wealthy to access skill without allowing skill to access wealth. And that makes sense to me. I think a lot of artists are rightfully upset about artificial intelligence kind of becoming a mainstream tool, which has been, we see it all the time. You go on social media, you really can't avoid it. Like 10 AI, tools that are going to boost your productivity, so on, so on, so on. In art, let me just preface this by saying this video is like short and sweet, and it's about AI in art. Like, I can totally see the valid, especially as a student of computer information systems, I can totally see the valid use cases of artificial intelligence, especially in like academia and like medicine and so on, so on, so on. But in art specifically, artists tend to be upset about AI because it largely, corporations, what they do is they scrape together data, user published data. So you upload a photo on Instagram. You took the perfect photo of the Northern Lights, and it took you 6 hours to capture, and then you edited it on Lightroom. And that took you however long to kind of get to, in the way of your own personal style. And then you publish it to Instagram. And buried in all of the permissions is like this little thing that says Meta has the ability to utilize your user-generated content to train their models, and then suddenly the next day you see a photo that's almost exactly the same as your picture, but it was AI generated, and it's because you pretty much, in a way, although you've agreed to it, have fallen victim to like a very problematic modern practice. Almost all AI does is it scrapes databases and then predicts the next most logical, like in a nutshell, output kind of thing. So like, for example, in large language models, it's pretty much just like the way that it generates content is the next word is like the most likely it's kind of like autocorrect or autofill, just like a really advanced autofill. But for videography, for photography, for music, so on, so on, so on, it can't create anything which it hasn't scraped. So that's why you see like the Studio Ghibli like content, because it's scraped hours and hours and hours of Studio Ghibli, things that have taken artists forever to curate and kind of develop over at Studio Ghibli, and it based on that generates these images. It's like somebody once, I saw a video where they tried to have ChatGPT generate a full glass of wine like filled to the brim, and it absolutely could not do it. And the reason is because you don't see that. Wine's often filled like halfway up, right? So you don't see that online because no one takes a photo of an entirely filled to the brim wine glass. So genuinely there is nothing to steal from. Artists spend, like videographers, for example, will fall in love with specific film and imperfections of specific film. People in audio will fall in love with like analog imperfections, the warmth and the saturation that comes from specific tape decks or like analog synths. And these models, or so these people who are that obsessed with these things very typically find themselves in projects like, let's say, the new movie Sinners that everyone's talking about. It's super fire. It's super visually appealing. And obviously, like, Ryan, the director, has huge passion for film. And really, it's that passion that these models are intending to replicate and kind of turn into a commodity, which is, in my mind, a crime against humanity. First and foremost, they're stealing data. Like, generally. I've tried speaking to the OpenAI voice model, and if I don't say anything, it says please subscribe. Like, it just drops that, because it's like that in my mind says that it's been trained off of so many YouTube videos that it just opts to saying that if it's fed no input. And so all of these artists and creators who have dumped their entire life and soul and energy and worldly perspective are kind of falling victim to a massive corporate scheme to take what takes a genuine soul to fall in love with and turn it into a fucking prompt. So for me, that's kind of no bueno. I keep making these rambling videos, so I kind of wrote down a few things this time. Another thing is a lot of people kind of try to be like, oh, artists are like claiming superiority and so on and so forth. What we're doing is genuine art, and it is not. You are not, if you're generating content with AI, creating art. You are not a creator at all. You are, and if you talk down to artists who, voice their concerns, really what you're saying is, thank you for allowing me to take what you've spent decades developing and use it for my content. What I'm doing is real, and you have no place to say otherwise, which is insane to me. It's essentially like we're allowing these markets to kind of be flooded with slop. It's becoming more and more challenging to find art online, like genuine human art, because of course now underskilled people or people who don't want to create or want the pride and they want the kind of clout that comes with being a successful artist. They are taking over. Like and they're all utilizing practically stolen art. Like, because again, AI cannot generate anything original. It can't. It literally can't. Unless it's been trained on the data, it cannot create it. And the data is like yours. It's ours. It's YouTube videos. It's film. It's audio. And again, so these massive corporations are turning that into a commodity. And in my mind, like the algorithmic duplication of genuine passion, love, heart, and soul is not an advancement in this industry. That makes no sense to me. It does not compute. Create it if you want. Like, do it. Go and type your prompt in and then post it. But just keep in mind that if you're going to do that, that you have absolutely zero skill. Like, you've just stolen from somebody who actually has skill. And if you run a company and you employ the principle of, oh, I'm going to just use this model to create this aesthetic for my company, or so on, so on, so on, so on, so on, anything artistic, keep in mind that you are taking the most soulless, borderline thieving route. And if you have any, in my mind, pride and joy in what you create, you would say, maybe I'll hire somebody who also has pride and joy. Like Ludwig, for example, on the movie Sinners. Like, that guy is a fantastic composer. Imagine they just use whatever it's called. There's these AI music creators. It doesn't make sense, because it would be so dastardly to do that in the mind of someone like Ryan, the director, because it would just be a soulless interpretation of somebody else's work. We're heading into an era where it's becoming impossible to stay original, because the market is otherwise being flooded with constant replications and stolen concepts and stolen imagery and stolen aesthetics. And it's nothing new. We've been doing that for a long time. Humans can interpret and regurgitate what they want. What comes into our brain and what comes out is never exactly what came in. Our shared experiences, our individual experiences alter what we consume. If I watch a film and I'm inspired by it through the lens of what makes me me. AI is not. It's 0 1 0 1 0 1 0 1. Here you go. Now replace somebody who's genuinely in love with what they do and create worse content for it and destroy an industry built on love and soul, and make your company and or your identity and or your content just more generally samey, which is super geeked. And I'm sorry to say, that's just a genuine coward's way out.